door. And he answers it, and it's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and a couple of U.S. Secret Service officers. And bam, they arrest Frank. And they search the house and his car, and they find a printing press and $949,000 of the fake money. So they throw Frank in jail, and he waits there for his trial. Now, Frank is in Canada, so he's sitting there in jail thinking, they're gonna be chill about this. Canadian laws are no big deal. I'm not gonna be in jail for very long. But the U.S. Secret Service makes sure to let him know that in the U.S., this actually is a big deal. And that they want to extradite him there, where he'll be facing up to 60 years in prison. And Frank is like, oh shit. Now, Frank actually has a lawyer, a really good lawyer. And this lawyer argues to the court that when the police helicopter was following him to the buyer's house that day and they were surveilling him, they didn't actually get Frank on camera carrying the counterfeit money and handing it to the buyer. Which, he's right, they didn't get him on camera doing that. And therefore, because they didn't get Frank on camera committing the crime, the search warrant they used to search his girlfriend's house was unlawful. That's what the lawyer is arguing. And the court actually agrees. And then they suspend Frank's extradition to the U.S. And about 6 weeks later, they let him out of jail, while Canadian police try and gather more evidence against him. Once they inevitably get that evidence, Frank is going to be going to prison for a long time. Until Frank's court date eventually comes. And while he's walking into court, he's like nervous as shit. And he didn't get extradited to the U.S., but Canadian prosecutors are still gonna try and put him in prison. And so he turns to his lawyer and he's like, there's still 200 million fake dollars out there that I still have hidden that police never found. And they decide, hey, let's use that as leverage. And then Frank will offer to show them where that money is if they offer to give him a lighter sentence. Because the government, they just want to make sure that none of this fake money ever hits the streets. Like, it's very important to them. They can't have $200 million in fake money circulating around. In theory, that can bring down the value of real money, all kinds of stuff. So, after some negotiating, Frank and his lawyer finally reach an agreement with prosecution. In exchange for him telling them where the $200 million in counterfeit money is, they will let him go free. And so Frank leads the police directly to where he had been secretly keeping that fake $200 million, which was in, and I'm not making this up, the back of a box truck parked in a hotel parking lot. And so police, they seize the money and they release Frank and he goes free. So after all that, after printing $250 million in counterfeit bills,